dear. Welcome to Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, a weekly gift of guidance from my spirit guides on navigating you through the uncertain world that you are now living in. Published every Tuesday since 2014. In this episode, the guides will be talking about you are attracting what you feel. And like always, Ray's got a question for me to start out with.
I do. Don't people really want to attract how they want to feel rather than how they already feel?
Absolutely. Okay, at least by the time you get into a decision you made and it's a little bit now weathered and it's aged, maybe it's 6 months into it and you think, well, this is how I felt about it, but this is how I'd really like to feel in hindsight, okay? Why does that happen? Why don't you always feel good about it, happy about it? How come you don't always feel like that? It's because you really didn't examine how you felt and how you wanted to feel about it as time went by. You never really looked into it. Some people just go about it like in this insight, I talk about the law of attraction. That's what it is. The law of attraction is, you're going to get what you want because you deserve it. And that's how it feels. It feels right. It feels like it belongs to you, like it's your turn, your time. You earned it. But you shouldn't have to really do anything. All you should have to do is just think about it and feel it, and it'll come to you. Well, what's going to come to you is the same thing that's come to you before. You do attract what you feel. It's kind of scary if you think about it, especially if you didn't do the inner work before you signed up for whatever that was, or you made that critical decision, okay? And here's how you do it. Here's how I learned to do it. When my life was on the line as a child, in my childhood family, when they were nonstop out to get me, out to take me down, to destroy me, all right? And I didn't make that up. That's exactly what happened. I ran away from home at 20 months old. That should tell you a lot right there. There was no reasoning. It was a reaction to the situation where I knew that my life was in danger. I had to make it. I had to make a move. I had to stand my ground. I had to react. Okay. And that comes from my true story, Guided. That's how I did it. In the many ways I did it throughout my life, instead of just taking things on face value. This is how you do it. I wrote these journals. These are the companion journals to Guided, about how you do it. So the next time you have something show up in your life, a love shows up in your life unexpectedly, okay? Get your journal out. Couldn't be a more important time. Get your journal out and write in your journal, make it your first journal entry, whatever it happens to be. Write in there what happened that day, what surprised you, what showed up out of the blue sky. Write it down in your journal. Then close it. And the next day, I'm going to say to do it this way in this case, close it, and the next day open it back up to the journal entry page that you wrote down what that was. And then ask yourself the second question. How does what I wrote down make me feel? You attract what you feel, okay? You're attracting what you feel. So what do you feel? You sober up, you spend the night, you sleep on it after you wrote it down to go in and answer that most critical question about how you feel. I mean, we're talking about telling yourself the truth. When's the last time you did that? Okay? You need to write down how you feel about what you wrote down the day before. Really, how did you feel? I don't mean just, oh, this is how it felt. It felt wonderful. Oh, it caught me by surprise. No, you can write that down. That's a good thing to write down to start it with. But how do you really feel? Tell yourself the gut-wrenching truth about how it makes you feel. Because you guys, you've done this over and over again. You've made a decision. You've been in a relationship several times. You've had several jobs. You've made those decisions, but you never asked yourself how it makes you feel. You are attracting what you feel. So instead of you saying you went out and found that job, you actually attracted it back into your life. Back into your life. It's not the first job you've ever had. It's probably going to be pretty similar to the jobs you've had before. And if that's the case, then why did you change? Why did you even bother job hopping at all? What was the point if it wasn't going to be a great improvement over where you've been before? You won't know until you write it down. That's the first qualifying question. There's 4 in each journal entry, 4 questions. The first one is write it down what it is. And the second one is how did it make you feel? You need to really break it down. Consciousness resides in the details. So you must be conscious and mindful and aware and awake. And you must, above everything else, you must tell yourself the truth. Because you don't need another job. You need the right job or the right vocation. You don't need another relationship. You need the right relationship, so you don't need another relationship. Okay? The only way you're going to be able to perform on that. Now, doesn't that sound like a perfect world? Yes, it does. Your world is supposed to work, not work against you. Write it down. Write down how it felt. And after you really dive into how it felt, telling yourself the truth, the gut-wrenching truth, the absolute truth, beyond all the good stuff. I mean the truth, all of the truth. If you don't have, and the third question is, what do you realize from what you wrote down about how it felt? If you don't have, if that's not obvious to you, after you spend that time describing how it really feels in every way, the truth, then you're not going to, if you don't get an obvious aha moment where you realize, you have a total realization, you know exactly what to do. You understand what's going on in your life. There's no question about it. You would never doubt it because you did the work. Then the action you take will be an automatic response. There'll be no thinking about it. You will know. That's the best feeling in the whole wide world, you guys. But spend some time on you. Do the work to make sure what you're attracting is what you want to feel. It's what you need to feel, is what I want to say. It's what you need to feel. All these things you've wanted are over. That was then and this is now. They were not thought through. They were not examined before you jumped in. Okay? You need to make sure you check yourself in the need department. What do you need? What fits? What's right? And that's what these journals do. These are powerful. These are simple, but they're powerful. And you can perform on them. It only takes 15 minutes a day to flush out your life. Oh, this happened to me today, and this is how it made me feel. If I'm attracting what I feel, I want to make sure that what I feel, what I wrote, belongs in my life. And if it doesn't, it's out. I'm not spending one more second in what I wrote down, what I explained to myself, so I could see it on the pages and answer how it felt. If it doesn't feel right, it doesn't feel good. If it's not going to help you become more than you are and support who you are and be kind, then eliminate it. Attract only what you feel. This will raise the bar on the feeling part of this insight. You attract what you feel. So how do you attract more of what you need to feel? How do you attract more of that? You run it through this process. It's a filter you run it through. Okay? All right. So the one thing, I'm going to finish with this. The one thing that you want to always ask yourself when you work on your journal writing, these journal entries, 15 minutes a day, you flesh it all out, you write it down, and you go to work on how it makes you feel. And tell yourself the truth. It's the one place you can tell the truth and nobody will mess with you. Okay. The one thing that you'll notice that I almost fell into this trap again. I almost repeated it again. I almost did it again. But I caught myself because I wrote it down and I asked myself and really dove into how it made you feel. That's living in two worlds, you guys. It's not just in this world where you feel like, oh, you've got to make a decision and oh, you react to everything. No, this is where you bring in the part of you that knows. This part of you knows. This part of you thinks. This part of you knows. It knows you better than you know yourself in this world, all right? The common denominator every time when you flush these things out is you. You're the common denominator. So if you almost walked into another trap, that was you catching you before you did it again. And congratulations to you, because you won't spend another 20 years doing something that you could have bypassed because you checked yourself first. Okay? That's how this works. You are attracting what you feel. You want to make sure you like what you're attracting. This is how you're going to do it. Every single time, you will never miss. How about that? Okay. And we're going to close the session tonight. But first, if my work has helped you guys in any way, share what I do with your like-minded friends. And my spirit guides and I love your comments, so keep them coming. Okay, you are attracting what you feel. So how do you feel, Ray?
I feel like I'm attracting some important information that's going to be coming through from the guides.
That's right. The guides are going to close the session with their closing message about you are attracting what you feel. And here they go.
How is it that you became a repeat offender in your life?
So
People attract how they're feeling and not what they want to feel. They don't understand how it would be to feel differently.
that's so important.
Be clear about how you would like to feel, how you need to feel, and not just how you want to feel. Wants and needs are very different. Once you can define how you want to feel, that's different from what you understand up to this point, you will be able to realize how your life will be different. Once you realize it, you will already begin to feel it.
Right.
How you feel is an end goal and not a present state. your realizations will bring you to the point that the actions you need to take will come easy. You won't have to fret over them. They will just pop into your mind. They will be those aha moments where you connect the dots that if I do that, then I'll feel different. And when you string those actions together, that's how you get a different result, a different relationship, a different job. You do not want to take the easy road and put all your blind faith into the law of attraction. Because for most people, the law of attraction is really the law of addiction.
Yeah. You just keep repeating the same things that don't work. You guys know how that feels. You guys, you're looking for it to be easier than it has been. It is easier than it has been. This is how it's easier than it has been. It's gonna blow your mind. Okay. Remember, you have help. You are never alone and always being guided.